teacher Ronnie Onzima, a teacher of science. Today we are learning simple machines and friction as a topic. Today we are learning simple machines and friction as a topic. By the end of this topic, we would have covered 24 different lessons. I want us to begin with friction as today's lesson. So friction is defined as a force that opposes movement between two different objects. Or friction is a force that opposes movement or motion between objects that are in contact. So this word movement can be known as motion. So friction is defined as a force that opposes movement or motion between objects that are in contact. So in this activity that I want to carry out, you realize that the friction force. For example, I have two different objects here. Two different objects that have rough surfaces. When I rub these two objects with each other, you realize that there is great friction which will slow the movement of the objects. Using this, I'm using force. You see, movement is slowed. This means there is greater friction between these two objects. Let us now have a difference with two of these objects that have smooth surfaces. It is easier to move these two objects because they have smooth surfaces. Why? Because there is less friction. Let us try to move it. You see, it's different from what we carried in activity 1. So this clearly tells us that friction force is realized when the surfaces are rough. And friction as a useful force in our daily life can also be described as uses of friction in our daily life. So friction is useful to us in a number of ways. 1, friction is used for writing. Friction is used for writing. For example, I have a paper here. I have a pen. I write using it, the word friction. I've been able to write here friction with the help of this force known as friction. I've been able to write the word friction using a pen with the help of friction. This is how friction is useful in our daily life. 2, friction is used for sharpening objects. Friction is used for sharpening objects. I have a knife and a stone. You can see this stone has a rough surface. When I want to make this knife sharper, what I do is just bring it here and try to make it sharp. If I try to cut an object, simply, it will be simple with the help of friction. So friction is used for sharpening objects. Friction can also be used for climbing. For example, you have a tree out here that you want to climb. John wants to climb and get a mango. John will climb with the help of friction. John will hold the branches of the tree, and because the tree has a rough stem, John will be able to move easily with the help of friction. Another use of friction is that friction is used for lighting a matchstick, or friction is used for lighting a stick or matches. We have a matchbox here. Inside we have sticks. matchsticks. So if I want to light this, what I do is think the surface is a bit smooth. That's why the lighting has not come out clearly. But when you force it, you see, due to friction, it is lighting. So friction is used for lighting. Friction, how do we increase it? For example, this surface was smooth. It was smooth. It has taken some time for us to light this matchstick. So how do we increase friction? One, what you do is you make the surfaces rough. You make the surfaces rough, just like this one here. You make the surface rough. Or you make vehicle or bicycle tires with the treads. Like this one here, these are treads. You can see this side of the tire is a bit rough. When it was new, when this side was new, it was as rough as this. But due to friction with the road surfaces, it has been made smooth. This is because of friction. So friction can lead to wear and tear. That's the nuisance part of friction, which later on we shall look at. Another way of increasing friction is by putting grips on hands of the bicycle. By putting grips on the hands of the bicycle. You have a bicycle here. So normally grips are put here. So the person or the rider handles it here so that the hand does not slip away from the bicycle, leading to accident. We can also put spikes on sports boots. Spikes on sports boots, like for players, they have such kind of spikes. Or these are also treads. You can see this one has treads, this one also has spikes. This helps to prevent the players. This helps to prevent the players from falling. So what the spikes do is they enter into the ground so that the player is able to stop simply and prevents him from sliding. The nuisance part of the friction or the effects of friction, one of them we have is causes unnecessary heat. Causes unnecessary heat when you rub these two surfaces. When you rub these two surfaces for a long time, or when you rub your hand for a long time, after some time you realize that your hand is heating, or it has heated. When you put here, you feel some heat. Or even by rubbing it like this, it heats. So friction causes unnecessary heat. Friction causes wearing and tearing of objects. This can also be known as wear and tear. Just like what I showed you here, this surface was new, and because of friction, it has worn out. So friction can cause wear and tear. Friction causes unpleasant noise. Friction causes unpleasant noise. Just like this surface here, we use the knife, we're trying to sharpen it. So if somebody here didn't like noise, he will be irritated, simply because friction causes noise. You can hear that. Unnecessary noise caused by friction. Friction makes work hard. How does friction make work hard? For example, I have this book. You may have a bigger object, this book, and it is hard for you to carry it. Why? Because its surface here is large compared to this object. So what you do is to make this work easy, you use what you call rollers. I have my rollers here. I have my rollers here. So I want to carry this object to another place or to a different destination. What I do is I put my rollers down, and this object I carry it simply and put it on top. So when if I want to move this object, it becomes simple. So friction that makes work hard can be simplified, or this hard work can be reduced by using rollers, which is here. So we can reduce friction by using rollers and ball bearings. For example, we have our ball bearings here. This is a ball bearing. It is got from a motorcycle part. It is got from a part of a motorcycle. So ball bearings have been put there to simplify work. So if this becomes harder, what happens is that, once it dries, work becomes hard. So what we do is we get a grease, or we get an oil and put it, you pour. This will make, once it will smoothen this surface and makes work simple. So friction can be reduced by using oiling, or by oiling and greasing. Friction can be reduced by oiling and greasing. These greasing and oiling are called lubricants. Oil and grease are called lubricants. Lubricants. Oiling and greasing can be known as lubricating, and these two, oiling and greasing, or oil and grease, are known as lubricants. Lastly, we can also apply wheels. By application of wheels can also reduce friction. My dear learners, thank you for learning. I welcome you back in the next lesson. Thank you.